Subscribe because it's free.
In the endless void where distant suns punctuate the black tapestry of space, a grand narrative unfolds, a tale of might and mystery, where the galaxy's reputedly strongest species has ruled unchallenged for eons. In this cosmic expanse, an empire of advanced beings has built its legacy on the very pillars of power and precision, establishing a dominion that spans countless star systems. Their reputation is etched in every glowing nebula and every meticulously engineered vessel, symbols of a culture that reveres strength above all. This race, renowned for technological mastery and unwavering discipline, has long believed that power is synonymous with overt display, that true dominance is found in a bow thrust forward into the fray of battle. Within the labyrinthine corridors of their colossal starships and the vast, orderly research complexes scattered across the galaxy, every thought and action is dedicated to maintaining an image of unassailable superiority. Theirs is a world governed by unyielding logic and an iron resolve, where each conquest and every strategic maneuver reaffirms their position as the pinnacle of cosmic might. Their ethos leaves no room for error, and every decision is calculated to preserve a delicate balance between raw power and refined order. In this meticulously structured existence, every victory is celebrated as a testament to their prowess, and every defeat, though rare, is absorbed into the collective memory as a lesson in the art of war. Yet, amid this galaxy defined by clear hierarchies and unspoken rules of engagement, there emerges a curious anomaly, an unexpected habit that distinguishes one species from all the rest. Humanity, a race once relegated to the fringes of cosmic significance, has quietly cultivated an approach that stands in stark contrast to the audacious tactics of the Empire. Instead of leading from the vanguard or occupying positions of prominence on the battlefield, humans have long adopted a deliberate posture of retreat. Their customary tendency to assume the rear position during formations and maneuvers has been observed with a mixture of perplexity and disdain by those who command the known order of the universe. This behavior, far from being an act of cowardice, is a calculated expression of a philosophy rooted in resilience and adaptability. Human history is replete with accounts of hardship and unexpected triumphs, where setbacks have been transformed into opportunities for profound strategic insight. Their deliberate choice to remain in the background is not born of timidity, but of a keen understanding that sometimes the greatest strength lies in the art of waiting, observing, and then striking with decisive force. In a universe where power is often measured by the spectacle of its display, the understated nature of humanity's tactics is both an enigma and a quiet declaration of a different kind of mastery, a mastery not of visible, explosive force of might, but subtle, unwavering resilience. This habit, seen in the way humans arrange themselves during collective endeavors, is imbued with a legacy of experience. It is a silent acknowledgement of battles fought in the shadows, of adversaries underestimated and overcome through cunning rather than brute force. Every retreat is a move toward greater concentration of strength. Every measured step backward a prelude to a surprise attack that turns the tide of conflict. While the imperators and their ilk advance with the certainty of overwhelming power, humanity's choice to linger at the back is a calculated reserve, a hidden trove of potential energy, waiting for the precise moment to be unleashed. In the grand cosmic theater, the contrast between these two approaches is stark. On one hand, the Empire revels in its manifest display of superiority, its every action a bold proclamation of an unchallengeable destiny. Their philosophy is built on the belief that to lead is to be seen, and to be seen is to be remembered. Their tactics are direct, their strategies aggressive, and their confidence unshaken by the challenges of the unknown. On the other hand, humanity's quiet resolve speaks of a different wisdom, a belief that true strength may be measured not by the force one projects, but by the insight to know when restraint is the better path. It is a lesson learned through centuries of struggle, where survival depended not on a flash of a weapon, but on the steady calm of a mind that refuses to yield. There is an undeniable elegance in the human method, a rhythm in their cautious advance that belies an inner fortitude. Their habit of taking the rear is not an act of submission, but an embrace of a deeper strategic vision. It is a culmination of experiences where rash forward movement led to disastrous consequences, and the decision to wait became the cornerstone of survival. This practice, passed down through generations, reflects a collective understanding that every battle is won not by the loudest roar, but by the silent, relentless pulse of persistence. In this light, humanity emerges as a paradox, a race that may seem unassuming and reserved at first glance, yet carries within its spirit the seeds of revolution that challenges the very nature of power. Amid the endless dance of celestial bodies, this quiet strategy resonates like a hidden melody within the cosmic symphony. It invites observers to question the true essence of strength, to consider that in a realm where every flash of light and burst of energy is measured, there might be a subtler force at work. The apparent reluctance to lead is, in truth, an embrace of the shadows, a recognition that the brilliance of a star is enhanced by the depth of the darkness around it. In choosing the rear, humanity preserves its potential, allowing its energies to coalesce into a force that is both unpredictable and profoundly effective. As the vast expanse of space continues its eternal flow, the seeds of transformation are sown in the quiet recesses of strategy and survival. The Empire, with its rigid adherence to visible power, finds itself confronted with a reality that challenges its fundamental assumptions. For in the soft glow of distant stars, the understated brilliance of human ingenuity begins to cast a long, reflective shadow. It is a subtle shift, imperceptible at first, yet destined to redefine the rules of engagement across the galaxy. The silent, almost imperceptible habit of a race long underestimated stands as a beacon of resilience, a reminder that in the interplay of light and shadow, true strength often lies in the wisdom to know when to step back and allow opportunity to arise. In this moment of profound cosmic balance, the enduring spirit of humanity is revealed, a spirit that does not seek the limelight, but instead values the quiet strength of patience and careful planning. Here, within the calm before the storm, the very essence of survival is distilled into a single, unwavering truth, that sometimes the greatest victories are not won through immediate, overwhelming force, but through the quiet, deliberate choice to wait for the right moment to act. And so, as the galaxy watches with bated breath, a new chapter in the annals of cosmic history begins, one where the subtle genius of humanity is poised to reshape the future of the stars. In the silent stretch of interstellar space, an unexpected meeting unfolds as an imposing armada of alien vessels nears a human formation whose arrangement defies conventional expectations. The alien fleet, renowned for its unyielding display of dominance and precise battle formations, finds itself confronted by an anomaly, a human convoy meticulously organized with its core strength concealed at the rear. Every alien sensor registers a calculated stillness in the human ranks, a deliberate positioning that contradicts the boldly aggressive posture the aliens consider essential for victory. The approaching fleet, its engines humming with quiet authority, decelerates as its commanders scrutinize the human formation. Their analytical minds race to understand why these beings, historically deemed inferior in terms of raw power, would choose a position that seems more defensive than offensive. The alien leaders exchange curt, measured remarks, their voices laced with a mix of disbelief and dismissive amusement at what appears to be a tactical error. Yet beneath the surface of that dismissive tone lies a dawning curiosity, an urge to decipher the hidden logic behind the human strategy, a logic that challenges every tenet of alien warfare. As the distance narrows, the tension in the void becomes nearly palpable. The alien command centers buzz with activity, each officer determined to unravel the mystery of humanity's rearward stance. Their thoughts are a swirl of suspicion and confidence. They believe that a bold, frontal advance is a hallmark of true strength, while any deviation from that norm is a sign of weakness or indecision. However, the alien minds, seasoned in the art of war, begin to suspect that this behavior may conceal a nuance they have yet to comprehend. Behind the cold precision of their tactical displays, questions arise. Could it be that the humans are masking an unconventional reserve of strength? Is the apparent passivity a deceptive guise for an impending, well-timed counter? These questions fuel a quiet urgency within the alien ranks as they prepare to engage, their calculated approaches now tinted with uncharacteristic wariness. Within this charged atmosphere, the aliens' internal evaluations grow increasingly conflicted. Officers who once considered human tactics to be rudimentary now find themselves perplexed by the deliberate nature of the formation. Their initial assumptions, rooted in centuries of martial tradition and the unquestioned belief in overt superiority, begin to show signs of strain. In rapid, clipped exchanges over comm systems. High-ranking strategists express a growing certainty that humanity's arrangement is anything but accidental. Their data indicates a methodical synchronization among the human units, a level of discipline that hints at an underlying strategy far more sophisticated than mere subservience. The aliens' internal monologues, usually confident and uncompromising, now carry a tone of reluctant respect mingled with mounting apprehension. They debate the possibility that the human approach is a masterful ploy designed to lure overconfident adversaries into a trap. While a faction within the fleet remains adamant in their belief of overwhelming alien superiority, a quieter, more reflective group contemplates the historical lessons embedded in human resilience and cunning. This internal schism, a clash between unyielding pride and emerging doubt, adds a layer of complexity to the impending engagement. Simultaneously, subtle cues emanating from the human formation hint at an intelligence that belies their unassuming posture. Observers note that the human units, though positioned at the rear, exhibit an uncanny level of coordination and silent communication. Every movement is measured, every pause deliberate. Even in the absence of direct confrontation, the humans seem to be exchanging information through unobtrusive signals, a flicker of a light here, a coded gesture there, that speaks of sophisticated internal network of strategy. Their formation, far from a sign of weakness, appears to be a living, breathing testament to calculated restraint. It is as if every member of the human contingent understands the precise moment when an action will yield to decisive force. Even the ambient hum of their vessels carries an undercurrent of latent energy, suggesting that what might appear as passivity is in fact a calm before a meticulously orchestrated storm. Every element of their behavior is imbued with purpose, a silent communication of readiness that escapes the casual glance of the alien commanders, who remain blinded by their own preconceived notions of what constitutes effective combat posture. The mounting tension reaches a critical juncture as the alien fleet, driven by both skepticism and an emerging need to act, initiates its first maneuver toward the human convoy. There is a moment, a split second where time itself seems to hold its breath, when the alien flagship signals in advance. The decision is not made lightly. It is a culmination of relentless analysis, a test of the aliens' pride against the shadow of an unknown human tactic. In that decisive instant, every sensor on both sides flickers with anticipation. The aliens expect to confront an enemy that will crumble under the weight of their direct assault, yet what they find is a formation that remains eerily unmoved, as if waiting for a precise signal to ignite a hidden force. This hesitation is not a flaw, but strategic reserve, a calculated pause that hints at a countermeasure being readied in silence. In the midst of this standoff, the alien leadership experiences a profound moment of uncertainty. Their long-held doctrine, that visible aggression is the sole path to supremacy, is challenged by an enemy that appears to value the art timing over the spectacle of immediate conquest. The gap between expectation and reality narrows rapidly, and a growing sense of impending reversal permeates the alien ranks. In that tense, charged silence, the seeds of transformation are sown. The alien commanders, once assured of their method's infallibility, now face the unsettling possibility that they have underestimated an opponent whose strength lies not in the obvious but in the unseen. A palpable shift occurs as the fleet prepares for the next phase of engagement, a phase that promises to test every assumption about power, strategy, and the true nature of combat. With a final, resolute command, the alien flagship orders a full-spectrum analysis of the human formation, seeking to expose the hidden mechanics behind their rearward stance. In doing so, they unwittingly set the stage for a confrontation that will force them to reckon with the unpredictable ingenuity of humanity, a reckoning that may redefine the very rules of interstellar warfare. The tension, now at its zenith, leaves both sides poised on the brink of an irreversible clash, where every moment is charged with the potential to transform conventional wisdom into a lesson learned at the expense of pride. A hush fell over the command center as the alien analysts focused their instruments on the human convoy, their instruments picking up subtle fluctuations in the energy readings emanating from the rear-place units. One scientist's voice resonated in the quiet hum of data streams, expressing disbelief as they noted how the energy signatures, though subdued, were far more organized than random idleness. It became clear that every measured pause and every carefully timed burst of activity had a purpose that defied the established doctrines of raw, unmitigated aggression. The analysts, who until now had relied on centuries of tactical certainty, found themselves grappling with the realization that the human formation was no accident. It was a result of deliberate, methodical strategy honed through countless encounters and refined over eras of adversity. The very pattern that had been dismissed as a lack of initiative now revealed an intricate ballet of precision. Data streams confirmed that the seemingly passive rear guard was, in fact, the nucleus of an elaborate plan. It was observed that the human units were positioned not merely to shield their core forces, but to serve as a reservoir of tactical reserve. The quiet intensity of their formation indicated that every unit was primed to pivot at a moment's notice, harnessing their accumulated energy into a sudden, overwhelming counteroffensive. This insight shattered the alien preconception that superiority was solely defined by the overt display of might. The revelation was as much an intellectual awakening as it was a tactical one, a realization that true power could be cloaked in restraint. The explanation emerged with clarity. Humanity had mastered the art of patience, transforming what the aliens had considered a weakness into an insidious strength. Over centuries of conflict and survival against overwhelmingly superior foes, human strategists had deduced that the key to victory was not always found in the relentless forward thrust, but in the quiet conservation of force. By deliberately occupying the rear, they allowed their adversaries to overextend, to commit their full might in an effort to break what was presumed to be a vulnerable line. In that moment of overreach, the human reserve could then be unleashed with devastating precision. It was a counterintuitive approach that defied the conventional wisdom of immediate engagement. Yet its effectiveness lay in the element of surprise and the precise timing of the counterstrike. Every retreat, every calculated pause, had been orchestrated to enable a moment when the enemy's momentum would be at its peak, leaving them vulnerable to a concentrated and unexpected response. In the sterile glow of the command center, voices among the alien ranks began to murmur about past encounters and forgotten lessons. The narrative of countless battles, once dominated by the straightforward application of overwhelming force, was suddenly reframed by the notion that adaptability and strategic subtlety might be the true markers of strength. A high-ranking officer, whose confidence had once been unassailable, now questioned whether their rigid doctrines had blinded them to a more effective form of warfare. There was an emerging acknowledgement that while their own methods had brought them many victories, they were ill-equipped to deal with an enemy that turned every apparent shortfall into an advantage. The alien leadership, steeped in tradition and pride, was forced to confront the possibility that their understanding of combat was incomplete, a thought that was both humbling and disquieting. The internal conflict within the alien hierarchy was palpable. A faction that had long dismissed human behavior as primitive began to voice concerns over the efficacy of their own strategies. Their calculations, once unchallenged, now appeared simplistic in the face of the human method. The notion that retreat could be as potent as an aggressive advance unsettled the established order. Quiet debates arose in the sterile corridors of the flagship, where tactical officers weighed the merits of embracing a more flexible approach against an ingrained belief in visible dominance. The realization that every move was measured with deliberate intent shook the very foundation of their martial ethos. The precision of human timing, the orchestration of hidden reserves, and the ability to manipulate the battlefield dynamics were qualities that defied the straightforward arithmetic of force. It was as if the humans had distilled the essence of warfare into a silent art, a secret that had been cultivated in the shadows of countless losses and reaped in unexpected triumphs. Simultaneously, as the alien leadership wrestled with their inner doubts, the human formation began to display subtle signals that further underscored the strategic brilliance behind their posture. Across the network of communications, a quiet cadence could be detected, a series of prearranged pulses and code sequences that indicated readiness to switch from defensive reserve to lethal offense. This intricate pattern of signals was not chaotic, but executed with a disciplined precision that only years of hard-earned experience could produce. It was in this deliberate orchestration that the aliens recognized the full depth of human tactical genius. What had been assumed to be an inert waiting posture was, in reality, a dynamic system of energy conservation and rapid mobilization. Each human unit was both a sentinel and a latent weapon, primed to coalesce into a singular, focused strike when the moment was right. This realization rippled through the alien ranks like an electric current, igniting both admiration and anxiety. The acknowledgement that the human approach was a manifestation of calculated brilliance forced even the most stalwart defenders of traditional warfare to reconsider the fundamental principles of strength. Their previously unassailable doctrine, predicated on the overt projection of power, was now shown to be vulnerable to the subtle interplay of patience and timing. The aliens, for all their technological supremacy and tactical discipline, were confronted with a paradigm shift that challenged the very essence of their military identity. It was a moment of reckoning, a moment with a sharp edge of strategy sliced through the comfortable blanket of routine, exposing a raw, unyielding truth about the nature of conflict. The intellectual and tactical transformation within the alien command was not instantaneous. It was a gradual unfolding, as each new piece of evidence chipped away at long-held assumptions. In hushed tones and fragmented transmissions, theories were formed and discarded. Some argued that the human formation was a mere psychological ploy designed to lull the enemy into a false sense of security, while others speculated that it was a deeper manifestation of a cultural philosophy that valued collective ingenuity over individual valor. Whatever the truth, it was undeniable that humanity had found a way to invert the conventional equation of power. The strategic reserve, long underestimated and dismissed, had emerged as a formidable weapon, one that could turn the tide of battle without a single overt display of aggression. With every passing moment, the alien analysts pieced together the intricate mosaic of human tactics. Their calculations, once based solely on numerical superiority and the direct application of force, were now forced to account for a variable that had been entirely overlooked: the power of calculated inaction. It was a concept that defied easy explanation, yet its impact was unmistakable. The realization that the human approach was designed to bait, delay, and ultimately exploit the enemy's overzealous thrust was a revelation that would forever alter the alien perspective on warfare. The calm, measured posture of the human formation was a living embodiment of the strategic principle that sometimes the greatest strength is revealed in the moments of deliberate pause, a concept as profound as it was paradoxical. In the quiet before the impending clash, the alien command was left with a stark choice: cling to their traditional, visible methods of warfare, or adapt to the newfound understanding of a strategy that prized subtlety over spectacle. As the calculations converged on the undeniable effectiveness of the human method, a silent consensus began to emerge, a consensus that their next move must be as measured and adaptive as the enemy they faced. In that critical juncture, every member of the alien fleet sensed that the battle lines had shifted, that the real contest was not one of sheer force, but of intellect and timing. The stage was now set for a confrontation where every tactical decision would be scrutinized under the unforgiving lens of this newfound insight. The revelation had not only exposed the genius behind humanity's rearward stance, but had also sown the seeds of a strategic transformation that would soon challenge the long-standing doctrines of the galaxy's mightiest empire. The moment of irreversible change arrived as the alien fleet, convinced of its overwhelming superiority, unleashed a full-scale offensive that rippled through the void with devastating speed. In the charged silence that followed, every instrument and sensor on both sides pulsed with raw intensity. The alien forces surged forward in a meticulously coordinated barrage, confident that their centuries-old doctrines of unrelenting aggression would crush any resistance. However, the human contingent, steadfast in its quiet resolve, remained motionless. Yet every unit was poised in latent readiness, every member a silent promise of a counterstrike that would shatter the enemy's assumptions. As the alien armada advanced, their formations broke the cosmic stillness with thunderous energy and explosive brilliance. For every beam of light and every resounding burst of power that pierced the darkness, the humans absorbed the impact not with panic, but with a calm calculation of those who have long mastered the art of strategic retreat. Every calculated delay, every position held in disciplined reserve, was a moment to gather strength and anticipate the precise instant when the enemy's momentum would be their undoing. In the midst of the fray, a subtle signal spread like a whisper across the human network, a silent command that rippled through their ranks, synchronizing every element into a single, concentrated force. In that precise moment, when the alien onslaught reached its zenith, the human countermeasure was activated with unwavering precision. Units that had been stationed at the rear surged forward, not as disorganized reaction, but as an intricately timed strike force. Their movement was both fluid and lethal, a perfectly executed transformation from defensive posture to aggressive counterattack. The enemy, caught in the midst of their overextended assault, found their lines disrupted by an unexpected and ferocious convergence. The aliens' own momentum, once their greatest asset, now became the very instrument of their downfall. As the human forces advanced, every individual action was synchronized into a symphony of rapid, decisive force that met the alien advance head-on. The reversal of fortune was immediate and disorienting. The alien command, which had so long relied on the clarity of visible power, now grappled with a chaotic tableau in which their seemingly unassailable strategy unraveled before their eyes. The human counteroffensive, precise and relentless, exploited every gap in the enemy's formation, turning the tide of the battle into a series of calculated, targeted strikes. Alien vessels, once symbols of invincible might, began to falter as their systems were overwhelmed by the ingenuity and adaptability of their opponents. The raw energy of their assault was deflected, redirected, and ultimately repurposed against them. A cruel twist of fate engineered by the human philosophy of patience and precision. Amid the confusion and mounting losses, the alien leadership experienced an unsettling disintegration of their long-held certainties. The proud commanders, who had always prided themselves on the unassailable logic of their strategies, were forced to confront the fact that raw power, when wielded without the insight of restraint, could be manipulated by a foe who valued timing above brute force. Their communication channels, once filled with confident orders and unwavering directives, now buzzed with frantic debates and desperate recalculations. The alien doctrine, built upon the premise that visible aggression was a hallmark of true strength, crumbled under the weight of the human countermeasure, a revelation that shook the very core of their identity as conquerors. In the ensuing chaos, the human forces advanced with disciplined purpose that was as astonishing as it was effective. Every unit, every individual, contributed to a larger design, a design in which their deliberate, rearward positioning had been a calculated investment in the moment of truth. The concentrated counterstrike, executed with precision and an unyielding commitment to the strategy honed over countless battles, forced the alien fleet into a state of disarray. The overwhelming shock of the reversal was compounded by the realization that what had been interpreted as inaction was, in fact, the most dynamic and adaptive maneuver in the entire engagement. The aliens, now reeling from the unexpected ferocity of the counterattack, found themselves trapped in a web of their own miscalculations, unable to marshal a coherent defense against a relentless human advance. The decisive confrontation reached a climax as the human forces, channeling the full force of their collective ingenuity, initiated a final, all-encompassing assault. In that critical juncture, every fragment of their strategy, every moment of careful waiting, every ounce of conserved energy, coalesced into an overwhelming surge that left little room for the alien command to recover. The battlefield, once dominated by the loud declarations of power, now resonated with the quiet, steadfast pulse of human resilience. The aliens, their once formidable fleet now fragmented and disoriented, were forced into a retreat that was as rapid as it was complete. In the wake of the human counterstrike, the balance of power was irrevocably altered, marking a turning point that would forever redefine the laws of interstellar warfare. In the aftermath of the conflict, as the lingering echoes of battle gave way to an eerie calm, a profound transformation settled over the cosmos. The once arrogant alien forces were left to reckon with the stark reality that the principles of combat were not solely dictated by the overt display of strength, but by the strategic mastery of timing and reserve. The human method, refined through adversity and tempered by the harsh lessons of survival, had proven that true might often lies in the quiet moments of calculated inaction. This understanding, emerging from the crucible of conflict, was not merely a tactical victory. It was a paradigm shift that challenged the very definitions of power and superiority. In the silent aftermath, as the alien fleets disengaged and the remnants of their doctrine reeled from the encounter, the legacy of humanity's strategy stood as an enduring testament to the value of adaptability. The victory, achieved without a single moment of unnecessary aggression, was a celebration of the human spirit, a spirit that had turned apparent weakness into an unassailable strength through patience, coordination, and an unwavering belief in the power of subtlety. It was a moment of reckoning not just for the aliens, but for the entire cosmic order, a clear declaration that the dynamics of war were evolving in ways that transcended mere physical might. The cosmic silence that followed was filled with the echoes of hard-won wisdom, a wisdom that recognized the art of war as an ever-changing tapestry of innovation and resolve. In this new chapter of interstellar history, the lessons learned were as enduring as the stars themselves. That resilience, strategic foresight, and the courage to embrace unconventional methods were the true measures of strength. The human approach, once mocked for its unassuming posture, had now illuminated a path forward, redefining the essence of victory in a universe that had long been ruled by the loudest displays of power. In the reflective calm that marked the close of this epic confrontation, the enduring message emerged unmistakably clear. True strength is not always a matter of outward dominance, but the inner fortitude to harness one's potential and strike at the opportune moment. The legacy of this conflict, etched into the annals of cosmic history, would serve as a perpetual reminder that innovation and persistence could triumph over even the most imposing forces. And as the stars continued their silent dance across the infinite expanse, the spirit of humanity, resilient, adaptive, and brilliantly unyielding, glowed ever brighter, a beacon of hope and ingenuity for all who would dare to redefine the nature of power.